Hey everyone, welcome back to the initiative. My name is Vanessa, aka cutcreaser on Instagram. That is who I am. Here's my microphone, by the way. I don't know where to put it because I need to have it like right in front of me, and it's gonna be like right there, and that's not gonna be cute unless I like really zoom in, and that's not gonna be cute either. So hey, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about episode 6 of WandaVision. Hello. Okay, I'm going to be getting ready, doing my makeup while I'm talking about WandaVision, so if you don't like that, just like put me in the corner and just listen to what I'm saying. But if you want to see the makeup look that I'm doing, just watch me do it. But yeah, I will leave all the products down below, and then boom, let's get into it because this episode was very, very hefty. Jesus Christ. Honestly, I'm very shocked at what happened in this episode. There's a lot that goes on. I took a lot of notes while I watched it for the third or fourth time. I think this is my fourth time watching it. I'm gonna watch it again because my sister is watching it too. But anyways, just ignore my hair. I know it's giving Wanda in the opening theme. I did not mean to do that. This is actually how I do my hair, so don't come for me in the comments. The opening theme. Let's start with the opening theme because that's the first thing that we see in this episode. Opens with a late 90s, early 2000s type of vibe. That's very based off of Malcolm in the Middle. If you've never watched that show like me, it's okay. But if you just search up the Malcolm in the Middle theme song or intro, you can see like how much they copied, especially with the font. The font is so like Malcolm in the Middle and very reminiscent of the shows I used to watch when I was a kid with my sisters. So very heartwarming for me. So let's talk about the lyrics. I mean, I've liked the song so far, but this one is a bop too, mainly because it has like a sort of like a punk type of vibe going on. So we are just, you know, listening to this, and the lyrics are like, I had like copied down like one lyric that was really like heavy on my mind. Some days it's all confusion, easy come and go. What if it's all an illusion? Sit back and enjoy the show. Let's keep it going through each distorted day. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Blah, 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 blah. Those are the lyrics basically. So basically whoever is singing this song, which is just a conjured up thing that Wanda has been doing every single episode for each theme. It's always like a different lyric, but like this one is very much in the point of view of Billy and Tommy, which is really cute. I'm so glad that we got to see more of them, and yeah, I'm a huge fan of what they're doing with Wiccan and Speed. Like I said in my last video, I'm not too well versed in their backstory in the comics. I didn't really read the Young Avengers in the comics, but I do love the art for the Young Avengers. So good. Chef's kiss. But I love what they're doing with Billy and Tommy. So basically they're like talking into the camera. That's basically what they're doing in this episode, breaking the fourth wall and just, you know, being those main characters of like a sitcom. It's very cute. Giving Zach and Cody for me because, you know, obviously they're twins, and Zach and Cody are like kind of like the blueprint for twins in kids shows. They are like, one of them is the smart one and one of them is like the cool funny one, and I'm glad that they like kind of like paid homage to that. Zach and Cody came out in 2006, I think, so it kind of was paying homage to that, even though it probably wasn't, because I don't know, maybe it was, but I thought it was really cute. So we get more of Pietro, and Evan Peters obviously is playing Pietro, not Aaron Taylor Johnson. What a twist. I am so happy that they're doing this. After I watched this episode, I'm like, yeah, it kind of makes sense and I like it. Pietro is just, he is hella funny. He has so much more personality. I mean, he was funny in Age of Ultron, and like not like a ha 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 I'm dying funny, but like more like a funny. I mean, like, I feel like I was laughing at like some of the things he was saying, that I was actually laughing at it. So he's really playing this comedic role really well. Evan Peters, I have always loved him in all of his roles in American Horror Story. I mean, come on, if you weren't a stan of American Horror Story, you're missing out. Like, he did what he had to do in those shows. He gives off these like cool Uncle Jesse vibes. If you've never seen Full House, that's what I mean. Uncle Jesse, like very like cool quirky uncle that everybody wants to be friends with, but like he gets strict when he needs to be. He's just, you know, one of those. Like, it's really cute. Listen, Evan Peters has the range. Like, every single role that he's done it so differently. Each character that he's played has been really like, it draws you in mainly, especially of course in the first and second season of American Horror Story. He played Kit in Asylum and he played Taint in Murder House. I've very much loved him in those roles, so I'm glad that he like got to play around with like that like spooky but funny quirky kind of character. Wanda is so suspicious and confused by him. Like, she's just like, what? Like, she doesn't really understand what he's doing there or why he's there. He just makes no sense to her because he's nothing like her brother, but like kind of is at the same time. And it's weird to her, and she like notices these little things that he does, and she's kind of like nervous around him, gets a little like skeptical around him. So I think it's really cute, brings a really good dynamic, and we really didn't see enough of Wanda and Pietro in Age of Ultron, so I'm glad that we're seeing more of that in this show. Even though it's not Aaron Taylor Johnson's Quicksilver, I think Evan Peters is doing a pretty good job of, you know, capturing that Quicksilver comic version, because he's kind of like a dick in the comics as well. So I'm kind of glad that we, you know, got that from this show. I'm glad that they just brought Quicksilver as a character back into the MCU, because I feel like they really wasted him. They wasted him in the Fox movies as well. He was really there for more like comic relief, but I feel like he can bring such a great dynamic if he stays in the universe. Hopefully he does. I think it would be really interesting. Let's talk about the costumes. I'm obsessed with the costumes. I had bought a Funko Pop of Wanda in her Halloween costume because I think it's so cute. It's an homage to the classic Wanda Maximoff costume in Scarlet Witch in the comics. And with the headpiece and everything, the headpiece looks amazing. A lot of people didn't like it in the previews, but I personally thought that it was so good, so well done. They also brought back They also brought back Quicksilver's costume as well, with like the little thunder thingies, and yeah, it's so cute. They also brought back Vision's costume as well, which is like the green and red and yellow color scheme, and like his mind stone in the costume is like lopsided kind of reminds me of Lil Uzi, because he has like a freaking mind stone in his forehead for some reason. Still don't understand that, but you know, enjoy life, Lil Uzi, you know, go off. Pietro and Wanda go back and forth the whole episode, reminding themselves of childhood memories. And this one childhood memory in particular, they like call back to a memory of them in Halloween, and it's literally them in costumes, but Wanda is dressed as Nat from Endgame with the ginger to blonde braid, and then Pietro is wearing a patch, an eye patch like Fury, which either it could be Nat and Fury, or it could just be like a ladybug costume and a pirate. Aside from that, Vision goes against the script. He is basically doing his own thing, but Vision has to know the truth, so he leaves, and Pietro basically becomes the father figure for the day, and Pietro and Tommy become like besties, obviously because they have like kind of the same powers, super speed, and it's so cute. I love it. Okay, so back at Sword. I keep saying sword, I don't mean to. I'm just, when I read the word sword, I just say sword, but it's sword. I hate that about me. Back at Sword, picks up right where we left off after Wanda basically confronted Hayward and Monica and the rest of Sword, and Monica confronts Hayward about why the hell he thought it was a good idea to shoot a missile at Wanda. Antagonizing her is not going to make things any better for them, and Monica basically explains that and realizes how sus he is, but doesn't say it. Darcy comes at him too, and he's like, do you work for me? And she's like, actually, I don't know. And then he's like, and then Monica defends her and then says Darcy's with her, as she should. I love it. I love them together. I love the trio. And Hayward says some slick shit. He's like, which one of you is the sassy best friend? Excuse me? I said, what? I literally paused and I was like, did he really just say that? Like, that was, it had like so much very racist undertones underneath that. I might be reaching to some of you, but to me that sounded very, very, very racist. Obviously, because in Hollywood, they are always cast like the black best friend as like the sassy best friend, instead of like giving her like a whole main storyline to the white best friend who has the main storyline. So that came off to me as like, whoa, you need to relax. So I got really pissed. Once he said that, I literally was like, no. And then I pressed play. I was like, that's it. It turned me way off. Monica basically tells him if Wanda's a problem, then she has to be the solution. And she's right. And Hayward seems to be backing that anti-mutant rhetoric when he says superpowered individuals and like name drops Carol, tries to get in Monica's face about that, and mentions how hard it was during the blip, whatever. Monica basically tells him not to use the last 5 years to be a coward, and that gets Monica, Darcy, and Jimmy getting kicked out of the headquarters. The trio ends up kicking Sword's asses and goes undercover to find more of Hayward's secrets. And then back into the Hex, Wanda basically keeps testing Pietro and tries to find out why he's different, why he looks different, why he's like a totally different person. And Pietro kind of like brushes it off and just like explains like, you know, like, I don't know, like it's just how I am right now. You can't control the way he looks, apparently. Aside from that, Pietro, Billy, and Tommy basically like wreak havoc around the neighborhood, you know, doing what like little kids and their uncles do. Their cool uncle. And they reference Kick-Ass, which is the movie with Aaron Taylor Johnson and Evan Peters. They're both in. Listen, I was obsessed with that movie when I was younger. Obsessed. Aaron Taylor Johnson is amazing in it, and Evan Peters plays his best friend in the movie. So if you haven't watched it, you probably should. It's so good. But they did reference that in one of the lines, and I thought that was really cute. So back with Vision, he basically goes off and sees the rest of Westview, comes across a bunch of glitches in the system. He sees one woman who's basically stuck doing the same thing over and over again, and she's not blinking, and there's a guy in the background like putting a pumpkin down. So they're basically like putting up decorations, but like they're stuck doing that, and it's scary. I was like, okay, this is very creepy. And the woman like has like one tear that just comes down from her cheeks, and it's so sad. Like, she's stuck doing that, she can't control it. It's so sad. So yeah, that was just a lot. I didn't know what to make of that. Cuts to this scary commercial. This commercial was actually so cute in theory, that the production of it, obviously it's stop motion, so they definitely took a lot of time to make the commercial for this. It's very 90s, 2000s Danimals, yogurt type of vibes, you know. I mean, I feel like everybody in the 2000s who grew up in the 2000s knows of these commercials with like stop motion cartoons and promoting yogurts and stuff like that. I forgot what yogurt, Trix yogurt, like stuff like that, and Go-Gurt as well. A delicacy. So basically the commercial is about a kid surviving off of magic yogurt, and like the shark is telling him like, you know, he has to eat the yogurt to survive, and that's why he won't starve. And the kid ends up dying in the commercial because he can't open it. It's so morbid, and it's definitely one of the commercials that had me like, okay. I mean, all of them have like a really creepy undertone to them, especially because of what they allude towards. Like the last one alluded to the whole Lagos situation that happened because of Wanda. So it's very scary. These commercials, whoever has been working on the commercials, kudos to you, because they are really good and really, really scary. Okay, so let's see. Pietro explains to Wanda that he's basically there to do what cool uncles do in sitcoms. It's very, you know, cut and dry, like what uncles do in sitcoms. Basically coming to town unexpectedly, wreaking havoc, and having tensions with the brother-in-law, other relatives, because like he's annoying, and basically to give her grief. And that's what he says. He doesn't know how he got there, but he says the last thing that he remembers is him dying on the street. He heard her calling his name. I guess like his last memory so far is him dying in Sokovia, and that's like basically the last thing he remembers. So he really has no answers, and she tries to get answers from him, but like to no avail, because he doesn't really know much. So Billy and Tommy slowly discover their powers, Tommy finding out first that he has super speed, and he goes all crazy and like, you know, runs around and everything, you know, doing what a kid would do. Very much Dash from The Incredibles, which is also a thing in the background. Like they have the movie theater in Westview, and it says The Incredibles and The Parent Trap. I was like, wow, that's such a cute thing, because The Incredibles obviously is a super powered family. Lindsay Lohan playing twins, and yeah, that whole thing. But yeah, really cute reference. Okay, so now that Darcy, Jimmy, and Monica have, you know, gotten out of Sword, and they basically are just on their own now, trying to figure out how to help out Wanda, how to get back into the Hex. Darcy hacks into Sword's server and discovers that they're tracking Vision, and basically because they want to turn him into a weapon. I mean, what were they doing before Wanda went and picked him up from Sword's headquarters? See, why was he pulled apart like that? So we're gonna get closer to that answer in the near episodes. Hopefully it's nothing too, like, you know, it's gonna be very sad when we realize what they were doing to him. Obviously that we might see like a little conversation between Wanda and Hayward as like a flashback, because there is like a scene in the trailers where you see her going into Sword headquarters, and there's behind the scene pictures of her at Sword headquarters as well. So I don't know. And Hayward basically has like a head count of the people in Westview, well, sort of, and yeah, Vision is the only thing that Hayward is tracking. So he's not worried about Wanda, but more so worried about what she's doing to the Vision's body, because I guess that's like the most importante thing to him. So yeah, very scary stuff. I'm nervous. And it kind of explains what they do to him at the end of this episode. So Vision gets closer and closer to the bigger glitches in the system and sees frozen people. So he goes into this area of like, it's like a cul-de-sac basically, and everybody in the neighborhood is basically frozen in action, and you know, it's still Halloween. So yeah, it's just nobody answering him. They're all staring into space, not really doing anything. It kind of reminds me of that kind of reminds me of like those towns where like they test out nuclear bombs, and like it's like made up houses with like fake people in it. I think you can see some of that in like one of the Indiana Jones movies, but it reminds me of that. It's very scary. But yeah, Vision gets closer and closer to those glitches, tries to find more from them, but nobody's answering him. Rids himself of the costume and flies up and sees the entire town of Westview, and sees how everybody over there is talking, but nobody over here is talking because they're all stuck. Finally finds Agnes that way. He sees a car running on the corner of like a street, and he sees that it's Agnes. Agnes is at the corner of Ellis Avenue, which is the same avenue that Wanda didn't want Billy and Tommy to go to. She's basically sitting in her car, and the car is stuck at the corner of Ellis, and she's talking to Vision, and it's so weird because like, why is she talking to Vision when everyone else is frozen in that area, and she's the only one not frozen and is talking to him? So it kind of seems like she's acting a little bit. That made me a little suspicious. I was just like, why is she not stuck like everyone else? Either Agnes is like powerful enough to not be under control of the hex in that area, or if she's in on it and she's just playing it dumb. I'm rooting for Agnes. I know a lot of people aren't. I know a lot of people see her as being the potential villain. I definitely could see that, but I'm rooting for her not to be. I don't want her to be a bad guy just because I feel like she could be of great importance as a good guy. But yeah, this kind of just proves that she isn't a good guy. So it kind of sucks for me personally because I'm rooting for her. So Vision awakens her and she knows who Vision is because of the Avengers, and it seems like she's kind of playing dumb there, but yeah, she thinks she's dead because Vision is, and she says that, and Vision doesn't know who the Avengers are, and he gets confused when she says, like, you know, he's dead, but like she yells at him. She's like, because you're dead. 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 She's like going crazy and it's so scary. Agnes says like all is lost and she like loses it, starts laughing like a maniac. Listen, if that doesn't show Catherine Hahn's range, I don't know what will, because that is my girl. Like, she acted down in that episode. Like, oh my god. Yeah, her acting in this episode, so good. Absolutely love her. I'm very happy to see her play like a role that allows her to show her range, because she can be comedic as well, but she can also give a dramatic actress, and I love it. Agnes ends up driving away, makes a U-turn and goes back into Westview. He walks past Ellis Avenue and gets closer and closer to the edge of the hex. And then we cut back to Darcy seeing Monica's x-rays, sees that her cells are being rewritten and changing her. She doesn't seem fazed by it, but she seems like she knew that already, and she kind of brushes it off as well, and saying that she's seen so many blood tests before, possibly when her mom had cancer, and she knows what Wanda's feeling, and she wants to help her so bad because she knows what grief feels like. She's obviously still grieving her mother, so I feel like Monica's kind of like being a danger to herself, because she's just, you know, kind of over it, you know, like she's lost so much already. Captain Marvel's not around, not helping her out, so it's just her. And yeah, it just makes sense as to why she's doing the things that she's doing. Darcy decides to stay until she finds out more about Hayward, because Monica and Jimmy find out that the guy that is the aerospace engineer has what they need to get back into the hex. So they leave to go meet up with him, and Darcy stays back and tries to figure out more things that Hayward is hiding. So we get that. We get back into the hex where Pietro kind of asks her like certain things that he's confused about himself. So he basically asked her like, where were you hiding the kids up till now? And she was just like, didn't answer him at all. Whatever he was asking her is the questions that we want to know as well, and she was not answering him. Like, girl, tell us a little bit, you know? Like, I want to know. I'm very upset that I don't know much. It's very annoying. But anyways, Pietro doesn't see what's like much wrong with the hex. He's more like impressed, which is really confusing. His personality is like so different from, you know, the other Pietro, but when he asks her basically how she did everything, trying to get on her good side, it's kind of sus that he keeps asking her all these things, and nobody else seems to be that much aware of the hex other than him. And I don't think Agnes is aware of the hex still, but it's still pretty confusing. This product is so fun. Like, it's spongy. It's spongy. He asks her how she did everything, trying to get on her good side. Wanda explains that she really doesn't know, and like starts to get emotional about it, because, you know, she just felt a lot of loneliness, which is really sad. Like, this whole part where she explains why she did it instead of how she did it is really sad, because, you know, obviously a lot of us know what grief is like, and, you know, she was the only one who didn't get anyone back from the blip. Everyone else did, but she didn't. She was mostly alone, so it obviously got to her, and it's really important that we discuss that, because, you know, where is everyone else that was supposed to be there for her? No one else is around. Like, where's all the rest of the Avengers? You know what I mean? There's still a lot of Avengers left that, you know, are still alive, you know what I mean? So it's just very interesting as to why she felt so alone. Maybe we'll get back into that, and we will see how the Avengers are kind of at fault for this as well. But yeah, she gets emotional and she starts to see dead Pietro the same way we saw dead Vision, which is like that big jump scare. I don't want no parts. That was very scary. Her to be good, you know what I mean? Like, this is not okay. Somebody needs to take care of her. Somebody needs to help her. Nobody was there for her, and it's sad. That's why she created so many different people and like faked all of these different neighbors and friends, because she had nobody. Anyways, Vision leaves the hex. This is basically the climax of the episode. Vision finally leaves the hex and disintegrates while doing so. Darcy sees that he's getting closer to the hex. She runs and tries to help him, but Sword is just standing there doing nothing, just watching him disintegrate. Very strange how they just didn't, you know, try to help him get out of the hex, but that's neither here nor there. Vision begins to weaken. He's screaming like the people need help, and nobody's listening. But he begins to weaken and fade away, much like the House of M imagery in the comics. I recently read the House of M comics. Very good, by the way. But the imagery is very similar, as like people like start to fade away from reality. Can we just like not see Vision die again? Because I'm not here for that. Like, I'm not here for that. I actually have been really enjoying Vision as a character as of recently. The fact that they're doing this to me is upsetting, to say the least. It's not okay. I'm not okay with this, okay? Billy gets his powers and he sees what's happening with Vision. So Billy becomes Wiccan, finally, as Tommy obviously becomes Speed. Billy gets a vision of Vision and sees what's happening with Vision and sees that he's out of the hex, first of all, and he sees those soldiers with their, you know, guns pointed at him, ready to fire. Probably thinks that Sword is trying to take Vision away from her again, so she just listens to him and stops reality and begins to expand it. Monica and Jimmy, they leave Westview to go meet up with that guy, and Jimmy sees that the hex is moving, getting closer to them. So the hex is expanding, and the hex kind of like grabs Vision back, brings him back into the you know, makes him whole again. Darcy is tied to a car because they didn't want her to go and help Vision, so everybody is running away and they leave Darcy tied to the car. I was so mad. I was like, no, are you kidding? Why would you leave her? So she gets sucked into the hex too. She's like, oh fudge, and then she gets into the hex. I'm so sad. I can't wait to see who she becomes in the hex, but also like, damn, is nobody gonna help her? Like, I was upset. Anyways, Sword begins to change into carnival stuff and soldiers become into mimes and clowns, which is really funny. Such a meme, by the way. And yeah, Hayward drives away with two other agents and escapes when the rest of Sword is gone. Like, they're done for. Like, that's it. There's no one left from Sword. Then boom, Wanda's eyes open, very much Bella from Breaking Dawn, and that is the end of the episode. I have some theories. Let's get into my theories before I go back on Twitter and look at your theories. But first, let's talk about Hayward. Okay, so this clip got deleted out of nowhere, so I'm just gonna repeat my theory again. My theory for Hayward is that he's actually a Hydra agent. He just seems so sus. It would just make more sense that he would be an Hydra agent, because just the rhetoric that he was spewing about like being anti-superhero, to me that he would have that Hydra mentality. And I mentioned that before, I think, but yeah, I've also seen another theory. Hayward is actually Ultron, and I'll put the tweet over here where I saw that. The theory was that he was just Ultron underneath the skin of a human. In an episode of a cartoon show of the Avengers, one of the agents ended up being Ultron underneath, so I guess maybe they would be inspired by that and try to make that happen. So I don't know, but that was a really good theory. Definitely something to think about. And yeah, I just had to quickly record my little audio for this because I was like, oh my god, I can't let this video go up without talking about that because it's so important and it could be real. So that's that. Pietro, listen, Pietro, I'm kind of a bit skeptical of him. I don't know, something about him just doesn't sit right with my spirit. I feel like he might not have good intentions, but maybe, you know, he'll live, but maybe not, since we saw how Vision turned out when he left the Hex. So I just don't know about that. Let's talk about Agnes. I don't know what they're gonna do with her. I've seen leaks. I'm not gonna talk about them here because I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, but I said what I said, and that's that. I thought I was rooting for her, but I mean, all signs are pointing to me not being able to root for her, even though it might be possible that Wanda is just gonna be the main villain, which is very upsetting because I don't want to root for her, but I feel like I am. Every time I'd say, like, you know, don't, like, leave her alone, I feel like I'm rooting for her when I say that. She's unwell. That's what it is. She's unwell. Like, I'm not gonna label her as a villain because she's unwell. Like, you could label her as a villain for keeping all those people hostage, but also let her live her sim life. You know what I mean? Like, let her live. It's very upsetting. Like, but yeah, all signs are pointing to that, and it's very upsetting, and I don't want that to happen because I just want her to be good by the end of the season, but I don't think she will be. I definitely think that they will make her the villain for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Monica, I think she's a mutant. I think they're making her turn into a mutant. I feel like they might end up making everybody who's in the Hex a mutant, because since their cells are like changing and rewriting themselves, it seems like they might want to allude to the mutant thing, since obviously Quicksilver from Fox is now in the series, so it just makes sense that they would do that. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that they are turning them into mutants, and that's how Monica gets her powers. Some people have said that Monica is already a mutant, or that Monica already has had her powers and maybe Wanda awakened her powers. Like, I guess we can say that, but yeah, all signs are basically pointing to Monica already being her superpowered self, which is why she's defending Wanda the most. Billy and Tommy, very happy that they got their powers already. I feel like they will be very integral to the whole saving of Wanda. I feel like they might not agree with her, or maybe just become her little minions, which I do not want. I feel like they will probably come out of there alive. Probably not the same way as Quicksilver or the Vision will come out alive, but yeah. Or maybe Quicksilver and Billy and Tommy come out alive, but Vision doesn't. Either way, it's over for Vision. Like, I'm sorry to everybody involved, but it's over for Vision. I'm pretty sure that they are not going to bring him back, but I definitely think Billy and Tommy are going to have a big, massive role in the future movies. If they decide to keep them in the universe, I hope they do. It would be really dumb if they didn't. Darcy, oh my god, I can't believe they sucked her into the Hex. I'm so mad that they did, but I feel like they might turn her into kind of like a caricature of the character she played on Two Broke Girls. Like, it would be really interesting if they brought Jimmy into the Hex and he turned into probably one of his characters, maybe the Fresh Off the Boat character, or The Office. Maybe they might allude to that, since they are kind of using that camera. Yeah, so the eras that are left now are the late 2000s and the 2010s. Those are the last two sitcom eras that they can play with. I feel like they might keep the sitcom thing going up until episode 8, and episode 9, which is the finale, might probably just be the bridge between the Hex and Sword, that whole conflict. I'm worried. I don't know what they're gonna do with these last 3 episodes. It's really all up in the air because there hasn't been a ton of leaks for episodes 7, 8, and 9. So we just really have to wait and see, unless someone magically comes out and leaks certain things from the episode. But here are certain clips, I'll put them right here. Here are certain clips that we've seen in the trailers that are possibly in episode 7, 8, and 9, especially this one clip that was in episode 5, I believe, which was the last episode that we watched. There's a really short clip where you can see Wanda crying, and she has like this certain outfit on that we saw in the trailer for those later episodes, so we might see that. I've been talking way too much. This is almost an hour long. Jesus Christ. My camera's almost dying. I'm almost done though. I'll go onto Twitter and see if people actually respond to my tweet. I doubt it, but hopefully somebody did. Okay, my girl Daisy. What's up, Daisy? All right, Daisy Jasmine says, my theory is that they might pull mutants evolving at the same time as Sentinels. Sword was probably dissecting Vision's body so they could create some AI, since Hayward is a little too against superheroes. Like I said that too. I think Pietro is just a projection of Wanda's psyche, since he knows, but maybe when Wanda becomes aware of everything, she will rip a hole in reality, allowing mutants to merge with this world or merge somewhere. Also, did you catch Pietro going unleash hell, demon spawn? Yeah, I did catch him say that, but I saw I don't want to talk about the leaks, but I did see some things where people were saying to let go of Mephisto. So I'm starting to shy away from that theory, even though a lot of people have really been really strong on the whole Mephisto thing, especially the new rock stars. If you watch them, I watch all their theory videos, but the lead guy for New Rock Stars always thinks of Mephisto and might be, you know, in control of everything. I don't think Mephisto is involved, but probably another villain might be involved, and I don't want to talk about it. I really don't. Jelena_P says, I really don't think that's Pietro. Not because not only did that spooky shot scene come up, but he also brought up the children suddenly being in Westview and Vision being dead and can't die again. I don't know for sure, but something is fishy. So you just reminded me of something. When he's brought up the children suddenly being in Westview and Vision being dead and can't die again, yeah, that's definitely sus. Like, how does he only remember him being shot and then hearing Wanda call him to come into the hex, and then him knowing that Vision died? How does he know that Vision is dead? And how does he know that Vision can't die again? You know what I mean? Like, obviously he doesn't know that Vision died twice, but really interesting that he knows that and also knows that there weren't children before. Like, something there is up, and I don't know, but I agree. That was a good point to make because I totally glossed over that. So thank you. Ash Porter says, Agnes is sketchy and she knew what she was doing by telling the Vision he's dead. I don't trust her one bit. Definitely think that since she did that, like, she kind of awoken Vision a little bit more. I feel like she's trying to manipulate Vision into going against Wanda, perhaps. But yeah, that's a really good theory as well. But yeah, Agnes is definitely sketchy. To me, it seemed like she was laughing in a very mental breakdown kind of way. She's been stuck in this reality, probably actually dead. So it was a little... Okay, so people think that the people in the hex are dead. I don't think that they're dead, since Monica is alive and well when she left the hex. But I definitely think that the people who were there for longer, are probably having the effects of the hex a lot worse than Monica is. Here's someone else who said, Jasmine SW3 says, I don't have a theory, more of a statement of fact, but Hayward needs to D-word and I want to see it. I hate to say it, I don't want to wish death upon a character, but he must perish. Like, that man needs to die. I think there might be a bigger reveal there. Honestly, Hayward gives me like Shield, Hydra vibes. Like, everybody who's worked for Shield but ended up being Hydra kind of gives me those vibes. I feel like Hydra's still lingering because obviously you cut off the head of a Hydra agent, 2 more grow back. I feel like there's still a lingering thing of Hydra around, so I feel like he might have something to do with Hydra, just because that whole anti-superhero rhetoric is so poignant that I don't know, something about him just doesn't seem right with me. He's definitely sketchy, and we will see that unravel for sure in the later episodes, if not in the next episode. I'm gonna put my lashes on later, so this is what the final look will be so far. The way Agnes reacted to being awakened makes me think she's in fact not Agatha Harkness. Still sus though, unless it was an act. I think it was an act. I definitely think it was an act. All things point towards it being an act, so I wouldn't put it past us, honestly. I definitely think that there's something wrong there. Oh, do you see my little bang curl? I love that. I love when it does that. But yeah, there's definitely something wrong there. We will get to the bottom of it probably in the next few episodes. There's certain clips that we saw in the trailer that we haven't seen yet from previous episodes. I feel like we might get a kind of neighbor perspective of the show in one of the episodes. Probably in the next episode we might see more of their point of view, especially since we're gonna see Darcy in the hex as well. I feel like we might see more of that. Oh, let me fix my hair real quick. I feel like we might see more of what the neighbors were dealing with in the hex in one of the episodes, hopefully soon, because I just need to know what's going on with Agnes. But yeah, that is it for this little installment in my Marvel and Makeup series. Thank you so much for watching. If you watch this episode, comment down below what you have theories on for the next episode, and let me know what you think about this video in the comments down below. What you want to see next from my YouTube channel. I can do more makeup videos if you want. I have one idea floating around in my head about what I want to do in terms of like a makeup focused video, but other than that, I'm very excited. We got the Falcon and the Winter Soldier trailer the other day, and I was very excited about it because, hello, we are definitely going to continue my Marvel and Makeup series with that show as well, because I love the Falcon and the Winter Soldier separately and together. So we are definitely going to be unpacking those episodes as well. So don't worry, the Marvel content will continue after WandaVision ends, unfortunately. But yeah, we are going to have so much fun with the rest of the episodes. We are finally in the third act, so we will finally see the finale of what this show will come about, and yeah, it's gonna be terrifying, so get excited. We're gonna go along for a really long roller coaster ride, and I can't wait to enjoy that with y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support on my last two videos about WandaVision. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, that's really it. Thank you so much for watching, and also let me just close up of my face. Here's what it looks like. This is my look for today. Really cute. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one.